So today it's like a childhood dream come true. I'm joined by Àlex Corretja. I wasn't a small child, but looking back, it feels like I'm a small child. I saw Alex playing the Roland Garros final, beating Sampras. I saw that one. So, Alex is Olympian 2000, bronze medalist with Albert Costa, runner-up at the French Open 2 times, basically ATP Tour World Champion in 1998. Davis Cup champion 2000, runner-up as a coach 2011, and now you have been coach of Andy Murray also for a period of time to show him how to play on clay court.
Try to.
Welcome, Alex.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for me.
Thank you.
Of course, Christian.
Okay, so the first question is, in your life as an athlete, what was your darkest moment?
Well, there are always a lot of darkest moments and tough moments, but if you have a goal and if you have a commitment, it's always something that you try to go for it, even if you have a tough moments. I could say probably my toughest moment it was losing the second final at the French Open against Kuerten, because there I realized that it was going to be very difficult for me to become Roland Garros champion, which it was a dream for me, which I fought so hard to win that tournament. And that day it was probably one of the toughest ones to accept, and it was a matter of time to recover about that.
Yeah. And also I've written down it as a later question. You won the first set.
Yes.
The second set was close.
Yeah, and then 6-2, 6-0.
It wasn't too close after that.
Exactly. Well, with Kuerten, especially on clay, he was number one in the world, and on clay he was a little bit like if you played Rafa now. He was like normally the favorite. I beat him a couple of times before, but it was very difficult for me to play against him because he had a great backhand, one-handed backhand, which I had also, but he opened up the court a little bit better than me. He hit a little bit down the line quicker than me. He had a better serve and much better forehand. So I was leading, and then I was up a break in the second set, but as soon as I lost the second set, I realized that I had lost my chance, and I saw that he was building up his game and I was losing my game. So there is what I felt like I gave up a little bit on my goal, that he was winning that match no matter what, because I realized that he was better and I couldn't handle the situation as good as I wish.
Okay. And how did you recover from that moment?
Well, maybe I haven't yet.
Okay.
No, at the end you realize that you win things and you lose other ones. And when you practice as hard as you can and you fight and you do whatever you can to become the best you can, not always you're gonna win. And when you are playing, sometimes you feel that this is the only goal in life, winning, no? But I recover by going day by day, taking my time, set up different goals for the season. I said, okay, I want to win maybe a couple of tournaments that year, finish top 15. So change a little bit the goal of that year. And of course it's not easy, but then you have a team behind you that supports you, that helps you. You have your family, you have your friends. So I think the environment is very important.
Yeah. I want to touch on one more dark moment. I think it was a dark moment. You played Sampras in the US Open.
Yes.
The match was famous because Sampras vomited and won.
Yes.
And you were the opponent, but it was 5th set, tiebreak.
Yes. You see, that one is not a dark moment. That's a bright moment.
Okay.
Because that made me realize that I could become a good tennis player.
Okay.
Before I thought I was playing well, but I was not good enough. And that day, even if I lost, for me it was like, okay, like a turning point. For many people it was like, oh, you lost a big chance to become a semi-finalist of the US Open, to beat Sampras. Yeah, but from then on I became top 10 player. I won the Masters, I won all these things you said before. So that made me open up my eyes, that I was able to play with Pete Sampras on his best surface, on his best court, and I had match point and I lost, but I gave my best and I was very close. So my opinion, it was always the athlete needs to give the best they had.
Yeah.
So if you give everything you had inside you, at the end you can win things, you can lose others, but you don't regret anything. The problem is when you feel like you don't give your best. You know, probably I could regret my fourth set at the French Open with Corretja because I didn't fight as much as I could. But at that moment I couldn't do anything else, so I'm not gonna regret it 20 years later.
Yeah. So, what was your best moment?
Well, my best moment, it was winning the Masters for sure, because it was in Hanover, it was on indoor, fast court. I beat Sampras in the semifinals. So I lost to Sampras 2 years before with match point, but then I beat Sampras having match point against me in the semifinals of Hanover. Then I beat Moya after losing 2 sets to love, and I came in won in 5 sets. And so you don't remember those moments like, oh, I was lucky enough to win, but when you lose with match point, you feel like, oh, I lost with match point. And then you remember. It's a little bit, it's like some people when you play golf and you hit a putt from 8 meters and you feel like, wow, unbelievable, but then you miss one like this and you said like, oh, I hit or I shoot whatever 84, but if I didn't miss that, but you don't remember the one you put like from 7 meters. So at the end it's always a little bit of a balance.
Cool. So if you could go back in time 20 years, what advice would you give your younger you?
Probably a little bit what I did, to say, okay, when you sit down here after 20 years, you feel like you are happy with yourself. That's the most important thing. Maybe I would have loved to maybe be a little bit more flexible with myself, a little bit not that too strict, to have a little bit more fun. Because at the end of the day, after many years, you realize that it's not only about winning or losing. Life has millions of things. Doesn't matter if they watch you on the street or they look at you and they say, you won here or you won there. At the end of the day, that doesn't make any difference. What it makes a difference is if you're like a nice human being, you are a good person, you behave well with people, try to help. What's going to change? If now we're sitting here and I won Roland Garros 20 years ago, the difference is that you would say, wow, that's a great memory. But you're sitting here anyway with me. You know what I mean? So
I know.
Let's not make like this is the end of the world,
Yeah.
And when you are playing and you want to become the best in the world, I was number 2 in the world. I was trying to be number 1 and I couldn't, but I gave my best. So that's it. It's not a matter of it's going to be my life there and I'm going to die if I don't win that tournament that I thought I wanted to win. So I could probably say, okay, be a little bit more flexible, be professional and be committed, but have a little bit more fun and enjoy a little bit more the situation and the day by day, the process, you know, because if not, you only remember things when you are finished about the process, about the situations. The process, normally you don't enjoy it, and that's a pity.
Okay, thanks. So Alex agreed to give me 10 minutes, so I have one more question left. Alex has to go to the Australian Open as a commentator tomorrow, so let me see if I can pull out one more good question.
Okay, I give you 2 questions.
Two more. Okay.
I told you,
a challenging one.
I was very strict, but now I'm more flexible.
I give you a difficult one.
Okay.
You came to the final of the Davis Cup as a captain.
Yes.
And you did it without Rafa, so which is an achievement in itself. And they did not renew your contract. It was in the press that you was dissatisfied about that. How did you recover from that? Because it is, if you look at it, I mean, there's one player in Spain who's above everyone else. You brought the team to the final without that player. Yes. And they don't give you the recognition in the sense of renewing the contract. Well,
at the end, when it doesn't depend only on you. You know, you did what you can, but then there is a president of there is a federation which takes the decision. So you can be disappointed, you can be sad, but at the end of the day, you don't feel like, oh, yeah, I deserve this. Maybe I think I deserve, but they believe that I don't deserve it, and they gave the chance to another player. Also in Spain, we have so many ex-players, so that means that lots of people have the right or they deserve or the credit to be captains, you know. So I took it as I felt like I could have another year, because some of the captains before had many years or more years than me, but at that moment the president felt that it was not the right decision, so he took a decision. I'm not going to say that he took a wrong decision, but after that we really had problems with the Davis Cup team, with so many issues, you know, because at the end it's not just a matter of taking one player or another, it's the whole situation when you talk to players, to the coaches, you know, and you make a good ambience on the team. So it was a pity, and that's it. But I had a little bit of tough time in a way, but I was more mature than 20 years ago, so it was okay.
Yeah, okay. Last question. Do you want to nominate someone to be interviewed?
Okay, I would like Jordi Arrese. He's a good friend of mine. He won a silver medal in Barcelona, and I think he's very interesting. He's very intense. The only problem is that you will need to do it in Spanish.
I know, I'm prepared for that.
Okay.
I have one question about Jordi. Do you think he ever sleeps? He's so energetic.
I don't think he sleeps much, because he's always very active, but I can say that he is an unbelievable person, so that's the most important thing.
Okay. Thanks for your time, Alex.
Dankeschön.
Thanks a lot. Bitteschön.